Virtual reality has a way of making even the most mundane tasks feel immersive, and Farming Simulator VR proves that point beautifully, whether it's tilling soil, harvesting crops, or power washing your tractor. There's something strangely therapeutic about stepping into the boots of a virtual farmer. But does this VR adaptation truly capture the full farming experience, or does it feel a little too simple compared to its flat screen counterpart? Let's dig in, pun fully intended, and find out. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more VR game reviews and deep dives. Now let's see if Farming Simulator VR is worth the investment or if it's just another barnyard blunder. Welcome to the farm, a relaxing start. From the moment you load into Farming Simulator VR, it's clear that this game is about embracing the slow, methodical pace of rural life. You start at 9 a.m. sharp with $5,000 in your pocket, a modest piece of land, and a whole lot of work to do. The game introduces you to your farmstead, greenhouse, workshop, and open fields, all of which will become your second home. The tutorial, narrated with a soothing voice, does a solid job of explaining the basics. You'll learn how to plant crops, drive tractors, repair machinery, and even engage in side activities like pressure washing your equipment. Everything feels straightforward and easy to grasp, but it quickly becomes apparent that this VR version is missing some of the deeper mechanics found in its flat screen counterpart. Working the land, gameplay, and mechanics. Farming Simulator VR does a fantastic job of making mundane tasks feel rewarding in VR. The pressure washing mechanic, for example, feels like a mini game in itself. Though not as in-depth as something like Power Wash Simulator VR, it still gives that satisfying sense of cleaning up your equipment after a long day's work. Driving the tractor is a joy and a challenge at the same time. The steering wheel can be controlled manually, but there's also an option to use the analog stick for smoother driving. A simple instruction manual in the tractor's cabin ensures you know what each button does, from turning on headlights to adjusting throttle power. It's a small detail, but one that makes operating farm machinery more immersive. The core farming gameplay loop involves tilling the soil, planting crops, waiting for them to grow, harvesting and selling them for profit. It's a slow burn, but if you're the kind of player who finds peace in repetition, Farming Simulator VR can be incredibly meditative. The greenhouse, a mini farming oasis. If large-scale farming feels too overwhelming, the greenhouse offers a more compact, manageable experience. Here, you'll plant pumpkins, strawberries, and tomatoes, water them regularly, and keep an eye out for weeds. Removing weeds is a hands-on task, requiring you to physically pluck them out and throw them into the compost, a small but satisfying touch. Selling greenhouse produce is a straightforward process. Once your crops are ripe, simply weigh them on a scale and sell them for a decent profit. The greenhouse is an excellent option for making money on the side while you wait for your larger crops to grow. The workshop, fixing your farm equipment. In true rural life fashion, Farming Simulator VR doesn't just hand you perfectly functioning equipment. Over time, your machinery will break down and need repairs, which is where the workshop comes in. No prior knowledge of mechanical engineering is required, as the game highlights exactly where to place wrenches and hydraulic jacks. It's a bit simplified, but the act of physically interacting with your tools makes it feel more engaging than a simple menu-based repair system. The workshop even features a break room, complete with a record player and vinyls. While you can't choose the music, the presence of a radio in various locations makes farm work feel a little less lonely. The simple joy of side activities. When you need a break from hard labor, Farming Simulator VR provides a few casual diversions. You'll find a basketball hoop, a baseball, and some carefully placed cans to knock over. While the physics aren't always consistent, it's nice to see that the developers included small details to make the farm feel more alive. Sadly, these activities don't offer any tangible rewards, but they do help break up the routine. Where Farming Simulator VR falls short. As relaxing as Farming Simulator VR can be, it's hard to ignore what's missing compared to the flat screen version. One of the biggest omissions is livestock and forestry. In the mainline Farming Simulator games, you can raise cows, plant trees, and engage in more varied farming activities. But in VR, it's strictly crops and machines, which makes the experience feel a little stripped down. Technical glitches are another issue. Objects sometimes behave unpredictably, especially when grabbing tools like wrenches or hoses. Occasionally, your hands will get stuck in weird positions, requiring a quick shake to reset them. It's not game-breaking, but it disrupts immersion in an otherwise peaceful experience. The tutorial, while generally well designed, fails to teach certain mechanics. For example, it doesn't explain how to properly cultivate crops or mention that teleporting is required to reach certain spots when power washing your tractor. These small oversights can lead to unnecessary trial and error for new players. The reward of the daily grind. Despite its limitations, Farming Simulator VR still nails the feeling of progression. Buying new tools and machinery makes farming more efficient, and unlocking upgrades feels like a genuine reward for hard work. For example, upgrading to a better spray hose makes watering crops easier, while investing in a new tractor allows you to harvest larger fields. There's a satisfying loop of working, saving, and reinvesting, which keeps the game engaging even without major objectives. Final verdict, a relaxing if limited VR experience. The Farming Simulator VR is a solid first attempt at bringing the series into virtual reality. It captures the slow, peaceful nature of farming, with immersive mechanics that make every action feel meaningful. But at the same time, it lacks some of the depth that longtime fans might expect. If you're looking for a casual, relaxing VR farming experience, this game delivers exactly that. However, if you were hoping for a full-featured VR farming sim with livestock, forestry, and deeper management mechanics, you might find it a bit too basic. With a few content updates and bug fixes, Farming Simulator VR could become a must-play for sim enthusiasts. But as it stands, it's a calming distraction rather than a game-changing VR experience. Would you spend hours managing a farm in VR, or do you prefer the complexity of the flat-screen versions? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more VR game reviews and deep dives.